This road, once known as Ferry Street, travels down a steep hill toward the Missouri River. Long ago, locals would board the ferry at the landing at the bottom of the hill, when it was still referred to as Ferry Street. A woman traveling down the road in a buggy lost control of her horses and became unhitched from the animals and plummeted down the street into the river. Trapped inside, her drowned body was never recovered. Today, men walking along the riverbank have heard a woman calling them to join her in the murky water below. More often referred to as Wagoner House, this turn-of-the-century home was built in 1885 by B.P. Wagoner, who was a lawyer and politician in the Atchison area in the late 1800s. While gargoyles are usually erected to scare off evil spirits, legend has it that Wagoner accumulated his wealth through a deal with the devil, and the gargoyles were constructed in honor of the pact. It is said that the house is afflicted by an evil curse. One homeowner, who attempted to remove the gargoyles, fell to his death on the staircase. A segment on the Travel Channel reported that Kansas City ghost hunters, while visiting the home, picked up the presence of ghosts on the special equipment and reported having felt a presence in the local house. This house was placed on the National Register of Historic Places on May 3, 1974. A woman by the name of Molly is said to haunt this park. Supposedly, moaning and terrifying screams can be heard throughout the park around midnight. According to one legend, Molly was a beautiful young woman found dead in the park the day after her prom. She was found hanging by her neck to a park tree in a hollow with badly torn clothes. Allegedly, she and her date had argued the night before, and when Molly exited the car, her date drove off, leaving her in the park. It was never determined if her death was by her own hand or was a murder. Though some suspected that her prom date killed her, no one was ever charged. Another legend of the park's haunting states that Molly was a black woman who was lynched by a white mob years ago. Rather than the eerie screams of a young prom girl, the cries instead come from the brutal slaying of an African-American Molly. In any case, the area today is known as Molly's Hollow, where couples go to the park. In addition to Molly's chilling cries, many witnesses also claim to have seen a ghostly figure hanging in the tree where her body was discovered. Several strange occurrences have been reported in this house, such as the television and stereo mysteriously turning on at full volume and noises coming from rooms where no one is occupying. On one such occasion, the resident thought the noise was her dog and called out to him. However, instead of the dog responding to her call, an elderly woman's ghostly spirit entered the room. Wrapped in a shroud, the spirit smoothed a place on the bed and sat next to the resident. Screaming, the resident ran from the room to be answered by the slamming of the attic door behind her. Another strange experience has occurred to several guests who have stayed with the house. Apparently, when guests stay in this home, they are instructed to place their luggage at a space at the top of the stairs, which leads to the attic. However, the spirit seemingly doesn't like the suitcases stored in this area because the luggage is often found tossed to the bottom of the stairs. Sallie, the Heatland ghost, is said to haunt this house that once belonged to a local doctor. The tale of Sallie's ghost has been featured 3 times on the popular 1990s paranormal television show Sightings, as well as Unexplained Mysteries. Long ago, 6-year-old Sallie grew terribly sick during the night with severe abdominal pains. Sallie's mother rushed her to the doctor's house, where his family lived on the upper floor, and he operated his practice on the main floor. Sallie's mother listened as the doctor diagnosed young Sallie with a severe case of appendicitis, requiring immediate surgery. The little girl panicked at the sight of the surgical tools, and the doctor was forced to hold her down to give her ether. However, in his haste, the physician did not allow the anesthesia to take its full effect and began operating. Sallie awoke during the initial incision and began fighting and wrestling against the pain. Before she died, she was said to have looked at the doctor with both fear and loathing and remains within the house to this day.